your screen soon. There we go. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are in the world. My name is Tanya Sadowski, and I am the program coordinator for the Global Engagement Department at the Community Solution Education System. And I want to thank you all for being here today to join us for an incredible presentation. Before we get into the presentation, I do want to just tell you a little bit about International Education Week. International Education Week is a time that we take each year to recognize and celebrate the benefits of international education and global exchange. A joint initiative of the U.S. Department of State and the U.S. Department of Education, universities and institutions around the globe are encouraged to create and participate in events around International Education Week that promote global initiatives. With that, what we have this week for you, if you have not had the ability yet to check out any of our previous presentations from this week, they are all on our YouTube channel. And all of you will be getting a recording, a link to a recording of today's presentation after the session, where you can then also access the rest of the playlist. So if there's anything that you missed and you want to go back and watch, please do so. Today, you are here to I'm sorry. Today's presentation is Educate to Empower, eAcademy, Breaking the Cycle of Poverty Through Education. We have a dynamic group of speakers today. Tomorrow, we actually have two presentations. Our first is an overview of our Global Distinction Program. The Global Distinction Program is an honor that is awarded to students who complete certain requirements. It is an initiative through our Global Engagement Office. And following that, we will have a group of students who are going to discuss what it means to be a global citizen. And all of those students are Global Distinction students. They are either in the process of attaining that honor or they have already been awarded that distinction. Before we begin, please do mute yourselves throughout the presentation. Feel free to use the chat box and reactions throughout. We do have a lot of time at the end for a Q&A session with the speakers. We do also very much appreciate your patience with technology. We will do our best. But should there be any issues, as I mentioned, all presentations are recorded and available after the session. As a reminder, here's what you are here for today. You are here for the Educate to Empower eAcademy, Breaking the Cycle of Poverty Through Education. Our speakers today are Nalini Gangadhar, told you I was going to mess that up, co-founder, Educate to Empower eAcademy, Dr. Kelly Torres, the Department Chair of the Educational Psychology and Technology Program at the Chicago School, and Dr. Kate Green, Affiliate Faculty, Educational Psychology and Technology at the Chicago School. Without further ado, I will turn it over now to Dr. Kelly Torres.
Thank you. And it's my pleasure to introduce Nalini, whose work embodies both compassion and action. She is the co-founder of Educate to Empower eAcademy, and her journey began in 2010 when her family sponsored the education of two siblings in India. When she visited them the following year, she witnessed a transformative work being conducted by the Building Block School. And as a kindergarten teacher herself, Nalini was deeply inspired by the curriculum that was taught to migrant children who spoke many different languages at home. Inspired by Gandhi's reminder that poverty is the worst form of violence, Nalini has built an organization that strives to break cycles of poverty by creating a new literate generation, one learner at a time. Please welcome me and joining Nalini, a founder whose vision and dedication are opening doors for children who might otherwise be overlooked.
Thank you for that introduction, Dr. Torres. Good morning, faculty and students of the Chicago School. Thank you for the privilege of presenting today. As Dr. Torres mentioned, my name is Nalini Gangadhar. Born and raised in India, I emigrated to USA at age 20 and have been a proud American for 37 years. Having spent enough time in both countries, I love to give back by serving nonprofits that serve marginalized populations, both in America and India. Today's presentation focuses on a project very dear to my heart in my hometown of Bangalore. Bangalore happens to be the home of 597 slums, where 1 in 6 Bangaloreans is residing in a slum. Bangalore is also the IT capital of southern India, so hence it's a tale of two cities. IT hubs juxtaposed against underprivileged slums with migrant workers looking for a dream to work in the big city. I would love to share my presentation now with this PowerPoint. Can everybody see this?
No. No.
Okay. Um, While I shared screen, let's see. Does Dr. Torres or Kelly or Tanya have access to it? Let's go desktop. And now can you all see it?
Yes.
Okay, great. Figured it out. Okay. All right. So here's my title slide, which shows the 597 slums in my home city of Bangalore, which is in the state of Karnataka. My family's journey with Educate to Empower began long before it had a name. We had just met a couple where one spouse was from Bangalore and the other spouse was from Kansas. They happened to be in Kansas and attending the Indian Independence Day where my children were performing, and we happened to strike a conversation with this couple. We were enamored by the stories they said about building block schools where they volunteered and decided to support the education of two siblings. That was in 2010. And then in 2011, we had the privilege of visiting India and seeing the program firsthand. We witnessed all of the magic and transformative work of James Zambat, the founder of Building Block Schools, and met his dedicated team of faculty. As a kindergarten teacher, I was in awe of their approach, teaching reading, writing, phonics-based education, arithmetic, music, and other subjects to migrant students that spoke a dozen different Indian languages at home. James had brought the schools to the slums, and everyone was thriving. Over the years, my daughter Megan and I became passionate advocates, helping to establish libraries in each of these 9 building blocks preschools, establish continuing education programs for teachers, as well as after-school homework help for students. Then came COVID-19, a global pandemic that challenged every system, but also inspired innovation. I began to teach my sponsor student, who was back then in preschool and now in 10th grade. I started to teach her math for 2 hours a day because she had her 10th grade board exams coming up. Because in India, the state system of education sees 10th grade as the end of high school. And so they have board exams to take at the end of it to prove proficiency. I soon realized that she needed help in all subjects. Hence, I recruited my former Sunday school students and girlfriends and the cricket team at Wichita State University to help teach these other subjects. What began as an organic idea grew into a grassroots movement of virtual tutoring in 2020. James was also excited that he asked us to expand teaching to his other students who are in 10th grade and eventually 9th, 8th, 7th, 6th, and 5th grades. During the global quarantine period, we had 128 students teaching. I take that back. We had 128 volunteer teachers teaching from 9 different countries. We had an important mission. Those students of building blocks that had an educational sponsorship from a corporation or a private individual needed help succeeding in school. Since someone had already invested in them, our organization offered free online tutorials to these students to help them succeed academically. Our mission was clear: to bridge educational and gender inequities and close the digital divide for students who had lost access to learning. We had to invent the wheel, developing virtual education from scratch and keeping young minds and hearts strong during lockdowns. For an entire academic year, our online teachers were often the only source of instruction and friendship for these students. Imagine that, where you can't play outside and You are just fortunate to have made these friends that are teaching you not only school subjects, but playing with you and keeping your minds strong. Beyond education, we quickly learned that education wasn't enough. We needed to address the academic, psychological, and basic needs of these students. We raised critical funds for digital devices, coordinated curriculum with schools, and even distributed groceries to over 1,000 families when parents lost their source of income. The universe was with us. Our donors, volunteers, and building block staff made the impossible possible. Here you can see in the slide below, James Ambat, the founder of Building Blocks, donating groceries. He decided to go neighborhood to neighborhood and not only provide groceries for his students' families, he felt bad that the neighbors that weren't part of Building Block's system were struggling, so he just shared groceries with all the families in those slums. How did we expand our reach? In 2021, we shared our story with Dr. Michael Horowitz, Chancellor of TCS Education System, during a visit to Wichita, Kansas. My husband, Dasa Gangadhar, is the Assistant Dean at the Kansas College of Osteopathic Medicine. We had an opportunity to share projects near to our hearts, and then Dr. Horowitz was taken by surprise and deeply moved, and we were taken by surprise to see his interest when he offered Educate to Empower to partner with the Chicago School of Professional Psychology. This partnership became a powerful catalyst. The power of collaboration. True progress happens when every aspect of a child's life is supported. That philosophy brought about a beautiful collaboration between the Chicago School, Building Block Schools in India, and Educate to Empower's counselors. Together, they developed culturally sensitive programs addressing leadership, anti-bullying, stress management, and test anxiety, which are all core challenges faced by adolescents worldwide. When Dr. Torres and Dr. Green visited India, they met with students, teachers, and counselors, conducted focus groups, and helped implement a train-the-trainer model. Their experiences from projects in Latin America and Africa enriched our curriculum and brought new perspectives to our Indian partners. Educate to Empower eAcademy began focusing on middle and high school students in grades 5 through 10. Since there were individual donors and corporations that already invested in financial scholarships, the eAcademy made a decision to invest in the academic and emotional success of these students. Our goals expanded to include academic support in 6 core subjects, extracurricular engagement such as dance, chess, karate, continued sponsorships for college-bound students, job skills and soft skills, as some of these students are shy to speak English, but they have gained great confidence. Vocational and technical training for those students that don't want a college career path, vocational and technical training for them, digital literacy for hundreds of women and children, nutritional support for over 700 preschoolers, and counseling and career exploration for hundreds of adolescents. A global vision. Today, social media has made all issues global and all struggles shared. No matter where these students live, they face similar challenges and aspirations. By nurturing their strengths while addressing mental and emotional wellness, we are building a holistic, human-centered education model that transcends borders. As Mahatma Gandhi reminded us, poverty is the worst form of violence. Be the change you wish to see in the world. Education is the only way to break the cycle of poverty. Investing in a first generation of learners makes it inclusive, where all socioeconomic levels can thrive. Here is a photograph of the slum of Building Blocks where our students reside. You can see that the quarters are crammed, all transportation, everything's happening in the same little alley. to give you a comprehensive feel for our program, I will be sharing this video that was taken 2 years ago to celebrate the third anniversary of Educate to Empower.
Hello, I'm Nalini Gangadhar, a longtime volunteer and co-founder of Educate to Empower eAcademy. India has the largest number of child and adolescent population in the world, 444 million, out of which 47 million children live in abject poverty, and every fifth person is between the ages of 10 and 19. The world's largest economy with the largest rate of child poverty has halved the number of severely poor in the last decade. IMF predicts that India will also be the fastest growing economy in 2023. How do we shepherd these kids? You may be poor, your shoes might be broken, but your mind is a palace. A famous quote from the book Angela's Ashes. We at Educate to Empower have adopted this quote to help our friends at Building Blocks India. Gandhi said that poverty is the worst form of violence. We must be the change we wish to see in the world. Hence, we're helping break the cycle of poverty through the gift of education. James Ambat, the founder of Building Blocks, has been educating the underprivileged students since 2004. It has now grown into 13 schools in 4 cities, Bangalore, Goa, Coorg, and Hyderabad. The pandemic hurled new challenges, but at the same time, offered us opportunities to reinvent ourselves. Educate to Empower went from a fundraising mode to a remote learning platform. Wichita, Kansas was the birthplace of the eAcademy, a beautiful grassroots movement that went viral. Our goal was to mitigate educational inequities, gender inequities. The eAcademy was the only schooling for the first year. We have coached students through high school and continue to assist in college. What started as an experiment with one teacher and one student has now exploded into a phenomenal program with great impact. Educate to Empower eAcademy is touring for the 4th academic year with the help of almost 200 volunteer teachers since the pandemic. In 2023-2024 alone, we are serving 273 students in grades 5 through 10 with the help of 64 volunteer teachers, ages 13 to 78, teaching 6 subjects, extracurricular activities, counseling, leadership skills, computer skills, thus creating an everlasting impact. Food insecurity, digital divide, uninterrupted power supply, and lack of educational resources were addressed. We distributed food to over 1,000 families during lockdowns. We went from teaching small groups on one mobile phone to providing individual tablets. We supported 9 students with dilapidated homes with remodeling, providing basic amenities such as electricity and a personal toilet. We distributed dictionaries to spread the love of reading and comprehension, desks for comfort, and calculators to make learning an enjoyable experience. We went from darkness to light. One Child, One Light solar lamp project allowed students to charge their devices through the lamp and attend tutorials in the evenings. Our volunteer teachers donated books, established libraries to spread the joy of reading and provide an escape during quarantines. Our teachers donated their time, talents, and gifts to make children loved. Some of them visited them in India. It demonstrated that our teachers cared for their students. Self-defense, dance classes, and book clubs were established to empower girls. Business Entrepreneurship Challenge funded a couple of small businesses for students. Bloom School of Digital Literacy, a public-private partnership, has graduated over 100 students in 2 years with touch typing and Microsoft Office skills. Few parents have elevated their families by converting from home help jobs to call centers and quadrupling their earning potential. Progress can be achieved when we address all needs of the students: nutrition, education, safe housing, counseling, vocational training, and higher education. Current economic times and rampant inflation have further exacerbated the plight of these families. Building Blocks serves students from 33 slums in Bangalore, offering a phonics-based education to 1,100 underprivileged students with the help of private and corporate sponsorships. As sponsorships have dwindled, we've had to get creative again. Fortunately, Building Blocks was awarded a 5-year food grant from Global Children's Foundation starting in 2024. The $15,000 a year grant will help continue serving 2 balanced meals a day to these preschoolers and elementary, middle, and high school students. The sky is the limit for these students. They're succeeding in soft skills and job skills. Malala said that one child, one teacher, one book, one pen can change the world. With the help of our global village, we've impacted over 500 students in 3 years. May God bless our students, caring team of Building Blocks, generous sponsors, and dedicated teachers that are the backbones of the eAcademy. It does take a village, and we're glad you're part of our village. Educate a child, empower the poor, create a bright future. Thank you.
Thank you for your patience for this long video. I appreciate it. Our impact so far. Since 2020, Educate to Empower eAcademy has served over 1,200 students, drawn learners from 38 slum communities, offered free tutoring in 6 subjects, extracurriculars, counseling, and digital literacy, creating lasting change, one student, one family, and one community at a time. Now in our 6th academic year, we remain deeply grateful to our global village of volunteers who keep this dream alive. What is our vision? At Educate to Empower, we strive to break the cycle of poverty through the gift of education, creating a new literate generation. By investing in the less privileged today, we are giving them a hand up in society and not a handout. If you invest in a girl, chances are she will make sure her daughters attend school. If you invest in a boy, he will have less time to get involved in wrong company and be a great provider for his family. It is a win-win, educating all children. One way of investing in youth is training in digital literacy. This short testimonial shares the impact of digital literacy program in just 3 years. Although we have 9 branches of Building Blocks in Bangalore, we just inaugurated a computer lab in the 3rd school. We are only a third of our way in changing the trajectory of these schools' neighborhoods. Mothers who are day laborers and house helpers are training with touch typing and Microsoft Office skills during the day, while their daughters are attending the same classes after school. It is a true example of women's empowerment. And here's another short presentation.
I actually had 0% knowledge in computer skills and touch typing. And I was really confused when I was pursuing my degree, and I was not having any idea what to do after my completion of degree. And then when I was in confusion state of mind, I just got into the bloom and I learned the things which I didn't learn earlier, like touch typing, MS Excel, MS Word, MS Office, and I have learned the PowerPoint too. So that helped me a lot while doing my internship program. And I'm
That was powerful testimonials. The Chicago School is dedicated in improving communities and teaching graduates the value of uplifting marginalized populations around the world. It does truly take a village, and we're blessed that the Chicago School is part of our village. Thank you. Now I'd like to open up to any questions, and I'd be happy to answer.
Well, it doesn't look like we have any questions at this time, but thank you so much, Nalini, so much for joining us today. Um, really, really inspirational work that
Thank you.
you're doing. Really, truly, truly.
Now, is it okay if I were to ask your faculty some questions?
Sure. See.
Okay. I'd like to listen to Dr. Green, Kate Green and Kelly Torres' take on their own experiences and observations of our program in India during their visit.
Oh gosh. I mean, it's amazing. It's two different worlds because we were able to walk around the slums, and that's I don't want to say horrifying, but just it's really I don't know to see how some people, so many people have to live. And yet there's a lot of pride in their tiny little room, in their tiny little space. And those children who are, they have one uniform, and yet it's clean, it's crisply pressed. The parents, the mother, often single mothers, they have this great pride that their children are attending building blocks because not many of them get in. This is quite a there's such a need for more. Well, I want to say it was something like they had 25 spaces and 500 were applying or something like that. Nalini, you might know the numbers when we were there. But it was very hard to get in. So there is a lot of pride in there. But when you step into the preschool, it's this wonderful it's bright, it's colorful, it's clean, the kids are happy, they're laughing. And boy, these kids, we watched them writing on the board, 4-year-olds that were doing two number additions and subtraction, and they were doing multiplication. It was like, oh my gosh, these kids are just excelling. They're incredible. But it wasn't traumatic, if you will. There was no tears. It was just a joy. And the teachers were happy, and it was just a lovely environment to be in. We found,
Yes,
or I
the teachers
found.
are, yes, the
Sorry,
teachers are
Kelly.
very passionate, right, about their teaching and working
Yeah.
with the children, and the students were so dedicated to their studies, and so excited just to share their knowledge, but also, as Dr. Green was sharing, taking us into their homes, very proud of showing us their home environment, telling us more about them and meeting their families. And so it was truly an amazing experience, to be able to partner with building blocks and Nalini with your organization as well.
Thank you. Both of you
Uh,
hit a really good point. Um, Dr. Green said that not every child can attend school, and that's the thing. Some of these slum families might have four, three, six kids, and at first, James did enroll all of their students in school, and they used it like a free meal program. So then he just wanted to make sure more opportunities were provided to more families. Hence, they only sponsor the education of one student per family so that the others can still go to government-sponsored schools, which are actually very subpar in India versus private education is what a majority of the population, like 80-90% of the people that can afford, go to private schools. So by giving a taste of what building blocks does to each, many more families by only including one kid for sponsorship, but if they want a second or third student to attend the preschool, they can still pay the fees to get in. And it's a very selective admission process, just like in America, where the families interviewed, their social workers go to the homes and make sure that they're really invested in education because when it is a land of plenty of people and survival of the fittest, you want to make sure you're using your rupees, your dollars for towards its best use, where somebody will not only come because of the free meals, but also because they want the education and they want their family to change the trajectory. And then
mhm.
Dr. Torres mentioned how bright and cheerful their homes are. And that's what I was blown away with. No matter, even though it's just a tiny one room home with a concrete floor that they have to sleep on, their dishes are clean. Everything's displayed very proudly. And like she said, they are excited to take foreign visitors into their homes and show their belongings. It might be as minimal as possible, but they're very proud and take good care of it. Now, I
Yeah.
also wanted to ask a question to see uh, were there any parallels you observed between your Latin American, African projects and building blocks?
I I mean, I think a lot, yes, because we do a lot of work. We did more leadership work with your organization, but when we were in African countries, we've worked with play-based instruction that has to do with children who've experienced trauma. And the children that you work with, also coming out of the slums, have had a lot of trauma. We heard a lot of the bits and pieces of the stories and that some of these children go through, and it's very difficult. I know that you're vetting to try and get good families, but you know, living in conditions like that in such abject poverty, the stories are going to unfortunately have a lot of trauma involved in it. So yes, I think we saw some of the behavioral problems that needed to be addressed, that worked through, that children needed to be helped with, that teachers needed the skills, like how do we deal with this and how do we help them with appropriate phone use, appropriate online, just very similar things that they're struggling with, yes, as well, and throughout the US. I think a lot of the same problems.
Absolutely. Glad your program encourages your students to be global citizens because the ripple effects have so much impact beyond imagination. And then when your students have an opportunity to see this recorded version, I would love to hear back from you to see if anybody has new ideas for improvement because, it always needs envisioning periodically.
For sure.
Well, thank you all for your time and my invitation. I really appreciate the opportunity. Have a great day and enjoy your last day of conference.
Thank you
Thanks.
again, Nalini and Kate and Kelly, so much for being here today. Really appreciate you. Incredible presentation. Thank you so much. We do not have any questions in the chats, just a lot of thank yous. So thank you so much. And as I did mention earlier, this has been recorded. It will be on our YouTube channel. Feel free to share that link with anybody and everybody who you think might be interested in it. And please join us tomorrow for our final day of events for International Education Week. And don't forget to add to our Spotify playlist to add any music from your travels, from your international experiences, anything that is inspiring you. The link to that is on the flyer, and it will also be in the email that I send with the follow-up video. So thank you so much again. Really appreciate it. Everybody have a wonderful rest of your week, and thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye.